as John was talking about, as real estate market trends are changing here in Clark County and prices are going up, Paul, what are some different ways people can get into a home and still keep it affordable?
Well, the good news is that even though housing prices are going up, the interest rates as of this time this year are actually lower than they were at this time last year, which is contradictory to what all the experts were saying. Everybody was saying that rates were going to be above 5% by the end of the year. Now, at this time, interest rates are a fourth or an eighth of a point lower than they were at the same time last year. What that means to a typical home buyer is, let's say they're purchasing a home for $250,000, putting 5% down. An eighth of a point lower rate is $20 a month less on that same loan than it would be last year. So you have that aspect of interest rates still being very low, but there's also a lot of other programs and a lot of alternatives that really first-time home buyers should be exploring beyond your FHA. It seems as if FHA is a default loan that first-time home buyers like to go to or like to refer to because of the flexibility of their guidelines. But one can get into a conventional or get into a home using conventional financing with just a little bit more down payment, but a much lower payment because the mortgage insurance is a lot less. And then there's USDA, the USDA Rural Housing Loan Program, where there's zero down and the monthly mortgage insurance is way, way less.
It sounds like there's a lot of areas in Clark County that qualify for the USDA program.
Oh yeah, Camas and Washougal were added several months ago. Battleground is still an eligible rural area. There have been talks about those areas being changed, but they've put that on hold until beginning of next year.
Oh,
so for right now, home buyers are safe. If they want to look in Camas, Washougal, Battleground, they are still eligible areas for rural housing financing. And that is a way, way more affordable way to go monthly payment-wise than FHA.
Good deal. Well, what are some other tips that you have for home buyers getting ready to buy a home? Because you hear about these horror stories of people not being able to get qualified for financing, or at the last minute something comes up in the loan conditions that prohibits them from closing on time. What are some tips that you would give to people to help them close on time?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of things that happen and a lot of problems that cause in the loan process is simply due to lack of education that these buyers have. If you don't tell buyers what to do and what not to do, they're not going to know. So the things that I notice most frequently or have been experiencing most frequently is when it comes to their funds that we have to verify, their bank statements, the ones that they're using to put the down payment down.
Right.
What I'm seeing a lot of, and what you do not want to do, three main things that I see is you never want to make a cash deposit. So for home buyers out there, do not deposit cash in your bank, because an underwriter will not accept a cash deposit. And that's not just our company, that's every lender out there. So cash is a taboo thing in the mortgage world. As far as other things that you should be doing or not be doing with your bank accounts is the commingling of funds. So if we receive a bank statement and we see multiple transfers from all these other accounts, guess what? We have to get those bank statements too. And if we get those bank statements and there's a bunch of cash deposits, guess what? We're gonna have a problem there. And then the third thing is, if you're receiving gift funds, I see this a lot, is they receive a gift of $5,000 from Uncle John, let's say.
Right. The
deposit shows up from Uncle John's account in the borrower's account for $6,000. I call the borrower back. I say, I thought it was only $5,000. Well, he decided to give me an extra $1,000 just for expenses and just extra stuff when we move in. Guess what? Didn't match the gift letter. We got to change that gift letter. So when there's gifts involved, the amount of the gift have to exactly match the amount that's stated on the gift letter. So those are three main things.
So the attention is in the details, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. You got to be very, very careful. And it's important for buyers to be educated about this, because if they're not told, they don't know, or they don't know any differently. So you've got to teach them this, and you've got to forewarn them. Forewarned is forearmed.
Is there a way that you can help buyers be prepared for this easily?
Yeah, if they're interested, they can email me at my email address below here, and I can send them a list of some do's and do nots. Complimentary, and when you do receive that list, if you have further questions or if you'd like to meet me in person, I would certainly be glad to meet with you.
Good deal.